Okay, this is gonna be funny, but let's try. Oh, wait. I'm gonna do this again. Hold on. Okay, this has got to be the funniest opening that I've ever done to an MJ Show episode, but I'm keeping it bloopers and all. Let's try this out one more time, alright? Oh god. Okay, here we go. Works. Yeah, boy. Yeah, that. Okay, stop, pause. Okay. Good lord, this is, like I said, the funniest opening I've done to an episode of the MJ Show. But this is what we are doing in COVID times, ladies and gentlemen. I was trying to figure out how do I make it happen that what I do outside and then I walk in happens right here in this room. That being said, welcome to another episode of the MJ Show. My name is Mihir Joshi, and coming up right now is an incredibly talented young singer who's going to be joining me. She's got a brand new song that just dropped yesterday. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about her journey. So without any further MJ Show, the very, very fabulous Nikhita Gandhi.
Hello,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. That was the goofiest thing that I've ever done to start off my show, but this is what we are doing in these times. Hey, I love the new hair. What have you done with your hair?
I braided it blue. I'm actually removing it right now. I'm literally doing it during your show. Because I've had it on
Well,
for a few days now, and I'm like, I think it's time to wash my hair.
no, it looks very funky. It looks very reggae vibe-ish. But yeah, firstly, congratulations on the new song. I loved it. I shared it yesterday with everybody so that they could also check it out. But
Yes.
before we get to the new song, which is what's happening right now, as I always do when somebody comes on my show for the first time, let's go through your journey. Let's look at some of the important milestone moments in your journey and started off with what I call the origin story. So how did you get into music? What was your path into professional music?
Well, I've always been into music, but professionally, it's been it's like a funny story because I didn't plan to be a playback singer. I was actually studying dentistry in Chennai, and then the music thing kind of happened. Like I was just doing music part time, just like a recreational thing, and that's when I met A R Rahman sir, and I started working in the South industry. So that's how my journey started. So it was pretty cool because it's kind of like music chose me more than like I chose music, and like professionally. So I think that's pretty amazing, and I'm so happy that I get to do this now for a living.
So let's rewind even further. You said you were always into music, and you were very
Yeah.
specific in your answer because I specifically said what was your journey into professional music. But how did your journey into music begin? Was it something in the family? Were you listening to music? I mean, were you learning music as a kid? What was happening?
Well, I'm a Bengali Punjabi from Calcutta. So being a Calcutta girl, I think it's art, and the love of art is very accepted. So everybody loves and tries to push their kids. So I learned Odissi dance from a very young age. I learned Hindustani classical music. So everything was kind of around me since childhood. So I think that obviously that helped, like the journey and everything.
So
So yeah,
where did you stay in Calcutta, by the way?
are you from Calcutta or something?
I spent 4 years in Salt Lake between my third and seventh standard. So that's about 25, 27 years ago. It's been a while since I left Calcutta, but yeah, I spent 4 years in Calcutta. I'm extremely fond of which is why I'm still calling it Calcutta and not Kolkata. But yeah, I lived there when it was Calcutta, and but yeah, I spent 4 years over there, and I'm very very fond of the place. So just curious, where did you stay?
Well, I've grown up in Lake Gardens, that's South Calcutta. That's
Yeah.
where I spent and it's so funny. Like now that I'm in this industry, I realize that every musician that I now work with from Bengal, like every industry person I work with now in Calcutta, all lived like in 100-200 meter radius from my house. So
How
it's
cool.
funny actually.
Very, very cool. So, what was the kind of, you said you spent many years learning Hindustani classical music while you were growing up. Do you remember what was the first thing that you performed in front of an audience of any sort, and how old were you when you did that?
I don't think I remember my first performance, but my mom told me something really funny. Like before I started learning music, I think I was probably like 5 or 6 or something. And so this is like my mom's story, not my own. I don't remember this at all. So I remember her telling me that she approached my like singing teacher, but she wasn't my teacher then, and she said that my daughter is like inclined in music and she sings well, like whatever, like she sounds like she can sing.
In
So
tune, yeah.
like why can she join your classes? So she was like, she's too small, like I can't really, she needs to grow up a little more, and all of that. And then how like in Durga Puja, like there's every year there's a pandal, and we like all the kids put up like these cultural programs and stuff. So cut to like there was Durga Puja, and then I think I performed something, like I don't know what I sang, but apparently the same person, because we're all from the same neighborhood, so she
Correct.
met my mom after that, and she was like, what, she does have some kind of sensibility in music, even though she's really small. So yeah, you
Bigger
can
on.
send. So apparently that was probably my first performance.
While the current work that you're doing, or even the work that you're doing as an independent artist beyond the film music that you are releasing is very either modern or filmy. I would love to start off today's episode with something that you learned when you were growing up, maybe something with a little bit of a classical like classical touch. Is there something that you remember that you still like to sing?
Okay, I think something really fits into the context of this request. So there's a song that I released recently, which was kind of like a rearrangement of a bhajan that I learned when I was a kid. So the story
Lovely.
behind this is that my dad used to learn music as well from the same teacher. And obviously, since I was very small, she used to give me all the boring songs. Like all the very simple rags. And my dad used to learn these Nazrul Gitis and bhajans, which were much more like, obviously they sounded a lot more mature. So I used to keep
Right.
asking my teacher, I want to learn these songs. They seem like, because he didn't have to learn sargam and all. He was, like his thing was that I just want to learn songs. And my thing was like I was getting trained. So and she used to never teach me. She's like, no, you have to, like, you have to earn it, basically.
Correct.
So what I used to do is when my dad used to practice, I used to just pick up the songs from him and be like, I've learned it now. So that's the story behind this song. Ever since I've heard it, like I fell in love with it, and so this song is a song on monsoon. It's a bhajan called Barse Badariya.
Yes,
And
and I
I
love the
released.
video for this. I thought the
Oh,
video that you made is beautiful. It's so tastefully done, and I love the font on with which the lyrics come on the screen. Everything about it is very very nicely done. So let's hear it.
बरसे बादरिया सावन की मनवावन की सावन की मनवावन की बरसे बादरिया बरसे बादलियाँ सावन के सावन बरसे बादलियाँ सावन की
That was beautiful. So
wow, so cool of you to do that whole
I just thought it would be nice for people to check out the video as well. Speaking of the video and speaking of her new song, I want you guys, everybody watching right now, go subscribe to Nikhita's channel. As you can see, I've already done that. She's got a new song that's just out. We're going to be talking about that in a little while. But so you started off your journey, like you said, your professional journey in music with Rahman sir. And what was your first experience with him as a performer or as a singer? When did he first notice you and say that, hey, I want to do a song with you, or come record something?
So I was in the choir in his school, KM Conservatory, and I was doing all of it just for the love of music, like with no intention to really, like meet him or like work with him. So and then so it's like a very specific funny story. So my universities were going on in college, so it was kind of like I had to live two lives. One was dental school and one was music school, and I couldn't make it for. There was this audition that was happening in amongst the singers in the choir, and I didn't know what it was for. Like they didn't really specify what it was for, and I couldn't make it to the audition. And we had to sing like our own. There was like a list of 5-6 songs, like Celtic songs, and we had to sing.
Oh, wow!
We had to like sing like whatever one of those songs for the audition, and I only knew liked only one song, which was Scarborough Affair, and that too I didn't like. I don't think Celtic music really suits my voice, so I remember the Simon and Garfunkel version that I knew. So I was like, can I send a video, because I can't leave my campus. I have an exam, like I have a university exams from the next day. So they're like, yeah, you can just send a video. So I on my chota sa laptop, I just sang and that too I still remember, because they wanted like a like that kind of vibe, and I can't do it. Like that's not really very innate for me.
They wanted like an operatic version of it.
Yeah, like very Celtic, very like light
Got
version.
It.
I only knew the Simon and Garfunkel version, so I think I was like, I'm going to Scarborough Fair. Like I sang it like that, and so apparently AR was the person who was like listening to all the auditions, and that's how I think maybe he liked the fact that I kind of broke the rules and did what I wanted to do, and so that's how I think that was the specific moment when he heard me and started calling me for auditions.
I got to hear the song a little bit at least a line or two. Come on.
I don't remember, dude. This is so long ago.
Forget the chord. Just get the opening chord and sing it without the music.
I'm going to Scarborough Fair.
Who lives there?
Yeah, I don't remember the words.
She once was a true love of mine.
You know what? So the reason why I don't remember the lyric is because they made us do like a Hindi. So the whole project was to make Hindi, like Indian versions of these songs. So I remember the Hindi version was like,
Wow.
Then whatever, like the whole thing. So
very cool. I really like that.
Fun fact: you interviewed Shashwat, I think, a couple of weeks back, and he wrote the lyrics for this. This was his first project with A R Rahman as well.
How cool is that? You guys should do a cover of it and put it out. The Hindi version of Scarborough Fair. I would love to hear it.
We actually should, because it was on this website called Qki. I don't think it's there on the internet anymore. I don't know if I find it, I will send it to you.
If you find it, send it to me, and if I don't find it, you got to record it and put it out, the Hindi version of it. I love the song. I'm a huge Simon Garfunkel fan. More than that, I'm a James Taylor fan. But yeah, I mean, I like the whole space of that folksy Americana music which was there. But anyhow, so this is what happened. What was the first song that you recorded? What was your debut song? Like, so speaking of Shashwat, he was telling me how his first song in Tamil was with A R Rahman and Mani Ratnam, and then his Hindi debut was with Ajay Atul. So what was yours? I know you guys are very good friends as well, right?
Yeah. Well, my first actual film recording, it was this song called Modern Kalyana. This was composed by, like coincidentally, so we had done a tour with A R Rahman sir with a huge orchestra like in 2012 or 13, and he was the flautist who was on the tour, who played like the Roja theme and everything. So he composed this song, and that was my first Tamil recording. But there was like a duet and a small bit in that. But my first like banger tune was with A R Rahman sir, which was right after that. A song called Ladio from the film I. So that was like a huge film, and it was intense because he was dubbing me, and I had to sing in a language I don't speak in, and can barely understand, and it was an intense recording because it was a very high pitched song, and like it was like Ladio, beautiful Ladio, sexy Ladio, let's go Ladio, like all the way up there. And
really high.
Yeah, like, and in my full, like, because he was like, I want like, like your open tone, and I was like full open vocals. I think that's like the highest I've ever sung in playback so far. And the funny thing is, when the song released, people kept like complimenting, like, you have such a like a high pitched voice, like you have such a cool range. And I was like, that's so weird because my voice, I've always, like I've always gotten feedback about how good my lows are. So that was really fun because everyone was like, wow, you can sing so high.
And I believe you sang that in Tamil, Hindi and Telugu, right?
Yeah.
Man, so I'm sure you speak and know Hindi well, but you sung in a lot of other languages, beyond your primary languages. How hard or difficult was it for you to pick up, say, the phonetics to be able to sing those languages? Was it easy for you?
Initially, it was definitely difficult. Ladio was one such song where I think I was like really losing. I mean, like losing my cool because I was not able to nail, because there are very specific letters which you face problems with, like the l's and the r's, so that's something that I think the first 2-3 recordings were pretty stressful, but then it got better. And I remember like some people who I recorded more than once with, when I came back to them the second time, they would be so impressed. They'd be like, oh my god, we didn't like expect you to finish it so fast. And so it's like, I think it's a learning curve. But the one thing that I really took, and this is an advice that came from Rahman sir that really helped with this language thing, was that he said that, like in that recording, he was like, you know what, pretend like you're mocking the language, like you're you're doing an impression of somebody who speaks Tamil or somebody who speaks Telugu, and then you'll get it. And it was such a weird piece of advice. Like, it was definitely not a very positive thing to say, but it was so helpful because the moment I started getting into that, like attack zone where I'm like, oh, I'm going to make fun of this language now, it just became easier because then I wasn't paying attention to, I wasn't stressing out about getting it right. It was more about getting it right in order to like make fun of it, so
right.
That it just became easier. So that was a very cool piece of advice that he gave, and it really helped.
That's really interesting. That's the first time I've heard anybody giving that kind of advice to get somebody to sing. Because I always think that it must be so difficult for, say, Hindi singers to sing in Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, because the languages are a little more obviously phonetically more difficult than, say, a Hindi or an English. which
Yeah.
which is pretty straightforward. Like if you hear the words in Hindi, English, or even Marathi for that matter, or even Bengali. Bengali is also a relatively easy language to speak.
Yeah.
It doesn't have too many tongue rolls and all sorts of weird sounds that come out. But with southern languages and even with Sanskrit for that matter, there are very specific sounds that need to come out. And I'm sure it must be difficult.
It's only been like only like a Tamil recording have I ever experienced where like experience the fact that all the people in the room are arguing with each other because they are like, no, it's this is the r, this is that word which has a r, and then they're like, no, it's the r, and I'm like, you guys are really confused about it. Because I think it's also like, you know, it's like a colloquial thing. Like some people say the ch, some people say the sir. Like, you know, something it's like for I don't know if I'll get the like
Cheese.
some people use it, say the same word with sell hin something, and some people will say chell hin re or whatever. So it's like
Right.
there's a debate within the community. So it's, I mean, it's that difficult, like that there's so much confusion, you know, within the language. So
Crazy. Well, so tell me, so that you did a ton of work or a fair amount of work in the southern film industry. What was your first experience with Bollywood? What was your first sort of moment,
first
or what would you say your first milestone moment was with Bollywood?
first song was Raabta. That was my first ever Bollywood song.
And what a way to kick things off, right? Like to be picturized
Absolutely.
on Deepika Padukone and have such. And I think it was with Arijit Singh, right? You've sung a lot of songs
Yeah.
by Arijit Singh, I saw.
Yeah.
By the way, I always ask people who sing with Arijit, do you land up ever recording together, or is it like you record your part and then he comes, he records his
I think
part?
in his specific case, I think he records from home. So I don't
Ah,
know. Like I've met him and I know him, but we don't end up recording together. Also, because in general, like in the process of a film song, you know, sometimes the song ends up being a duet, but it wasn't before, and there are multiple people who
right,
may kind of try it
correct,
out. So it keep like you don't end up also because you don't really record to people together, so you never get called at the same time, right? Because
correct.
you know, yeah, so you don't end up meeting during the recording, but you do end up meeting like in other circumstances.
Of course. But can we hear a little bit of Raabta? And you know what? I'm sure with every song recording, there are interesting stories and anecdotes that happen, stuff that happens behind the scenes. I'd love to, before you actually sing a little bit of Raabta for us, tell me, since this was your first song, some story behind the song, something that happened which made it memorable for you as well.
Raabta is also the song behind me moving to Bombay. Like I literally moved to Bombay when the song released. Like I came to Bombay a week before Raabta released because they wanted to kind of tweak a few things in the last, like till the last one. So Dada actually called and said that, can you come and can you stay here till the song releases, because we are, you know, kind of on the fence about a lot of things. So we can't keep calling you. And I was still in Chennai. I was still living in Chennai. So I
This
came
was
here.
2017.
Yes. So I came here. I stayed, like I did the dub, the song released, and then I literally like the song released, and I was like, oh, maybe I should stay in Bombay. Maybe I should start looking for a house here. Like that is literally like the story behind moving to Bombay. So that's my funny Raabta story.
That's awesome. Let's hear a bit of it.
Yeah. किया है दिल ने बयां, किया निगाहों को ज़ुबान, वादा वफा का किया, तुझसे पिया है खुद को मिला, दुनिया दुआओं का सिला, जीने का सपना लिया, दिल के मकान पे तू मेहमान रहा, आंखों की जुबान करे कुछ तो है तुझसे राबता, कुछ तो है तुझसे राबता, क्यों है ये कैसे है ये तू बता, कुछ तो है तुझसे राबता,
Oh, yeah. Man, that was fantastic. I think there's a bit of an internet issue. Can you guys see her? I've kind of lost her for now, but hopefully I will get her back. Come on, man. That was fantastic. I so wanted to hear the ending of that little improvisation that she did at the end. Can you guys see her at all? Anybody? Yeah, I know. The video. On, let's get her back on.
Let us get her back on, and there you go. Hopefully we should have her back on. Don't worry. She's not gone. She's here.
She's got a beautiful voice
oh my
indeed.
God, I think it just like disappeared.
No. So what happened is you went into this beautiful little, you went into this beautiful little improvisation towards the end, like you were doing this lovely vocal, and everybody was like, "Oh wow, that's so beautiful." Huh?
Let me create the mahal.
Ooh, I like.
Oh yeah, you want me to end it again?
End it again. That was awesome. Get back to the regular filter. Get back to like a no filter thing, so I can see you clearly.
I was trying to create like a
No, I like that. It worked for the song. That was really cool. By the way, after hearing that, I gotta ask you, who are your influences? What's the kind of music that you listen to, which makes you sing like this? Because it sounds really interesting. What are you listening to? What's the kind of music that's playing at your place when you just want to feel good about yourself?
I listen to a lot of different artists. Like I do have a lot of Western influences, so it's weird. Like I listen to a lot of Indian music and a lot of Western music, and it's like a strange set of influences. I do listen to a lot of R&B, soul. Like that's I think my safe
that
space.
I could make out, which is why I wanted to know what you listen to.
Thank you guys. Sorry, I just thought I wanted to acknowledge everybody for being so
Yes,
sweet.
you've been getting compliments throughout. So, that's Avanti Nagra, who's a fabulous singer herself, and she just said, I love your voice, and as did so many other people. There's Manish, there is Rupam, there's Shubham. Everybody is going gaga over what you just did right now, which is really cool, which made me ask, so who are the R&B singers? What's the kind of music that you like?
I listen to a lot of her, a lot of Alina Baraz, like a lot of artists actually. Like there's this person called Lianne Lahawas, this musician. She's amazing. So I think different kinds of influence. A lot of R&B singers. A lot of I've grown up to a lot of rap, like rock and rap and like blues and jazz as well. Like I used to listen to a lot of Ella Fitzgerald and all of that. So
lovely.
Alicia Keys. So a lot of
lovely.
Different kinds of influence.
Very cool. For me also growing up, I strangely enough, despite later on becoming a rock musician and having a rock and roll band, the music that I heard, and I am a self-taught singer, I learned from people like Dean Martin, Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, Ray Charles. I'm never a Sinatra fan for some reason. I like his earlier stuff, but not the swaggy Sinatra stuff. Elvis and Cliff Richard. That's the kind of music I was listening to growing up, which made me think like, okay, I wanna be singing as well. And I learned by listening to these guys. And I love, especially with the R&B singers that, the kind of people that you mentioned. As I grew older, I found myself gravitating towards that music a lot of Motown, a lot of, there's a Rod Stewart album called Soul Book. I don't know if you heard that. If you've not, you should. He's basically taken our old Motown and R&B songs and done it in his own, inimitable way. And he is phenomenal. It's like, it's one of the most, you know what, listen, after we finish off today, on Spotify, iTunes, whatever you use to listen to music, just listen to Soul Book, and I promise you it's going to be a great evening, because it's that laid back, chilled out vibe with him doing his thing. It's beautiful, and I love so many different things that I could hear in your voice, and I just had to know what's the kind of music you listen to. Okay, after that detour, let's get back to your story. So, Raabta happened, and between 2017 and 2020, tell me in your own mind, what were those important milestone moments, like songs that came out which were turning points in your career, where people noticed you even more. People thought, oh, this is great, and then this is great.
I think, of course, I've not been around for so long to have just like a few song milestones, but definitely some songs that really stood out for me. Ghar was a very important song for me from Jab Harry Met Sejal. I got nominated for a Filmfare for that. So
Yep.
So that was a very special song for me. It's still one of my favorite songs to have had the honor to sing, and such a well written song. And speaking of good writing, Sid is also in this.
Oh, is Sid here? Hey, how are you, Sid? Siddhant Kaushal. He's written their latest song, which we will now talk about very soon. I'm sure she also wants to talk about. I want to talk to her about, but I want to get a little more from Nikhita before we get to that. But yeah, so you were saying Ghar was important. A lot of people were requesting for Qaafirna as well, which I think was another.
Qaafirna was also, I think, I think it kind of is the only song that kind of outshone Raabta as well, because I even now, like, I think it's the most streamed song of my entire career. So thank you so much. I think everybody has shown so much love to that song, and I'm so happy that I got to sing it. And I honestly, like, being the kind of person that I am, the kind of musician that I am, I would have never thought that I would have gotten to sing, or I would have ended up singing songs like these. Since we just spoke about influences and things that we kind of drift towards, like, I would have never thought I would have even sung Raabta, So the kind of stuff that I've been able to do, I think it's amazing. It's really helped me grow as a musician, and like, in terms of being more accepting to my own voice, actually, because I would have never thought I would have sung something as like as traditional and as Indian. Amit Trivedi saw that in me. I love that. Pritam saw that in me. So a big shout out to whoever I've worked with, because they've really brought out interesting sides from within.
No, that's amazing. I know so many of your fans have been asking for Qaafirna. Can we hear a little bit of Qaafirna right now?
Yeah, sure. Like, to all of you guys from the beginning, you've been requesting this song and giving shout outs. So to everybody who's watching this and who will probably watch this later on.
Yep.
Here we go. में पहाड़ियों की उजली तो पैर गुजारना आए हाय तेरे साथ में अच्छा लगे शर्मीली अखियों से तेरा मेरी नजरें आए हाय तेरे साथ में अच्छा लगे ढलती हुई शाम ने बताया है कि दूर मंजिल पे मुझको तसल्ली है ये होने तलक रात हम दोनों साथ संग चल रहे हैं संग चल रहे हैं धूप के किनारे छाँव की तरह काफिराना साहेब इश्क है यार क्या ऐसे तो मिले जैसे मिले ही हो इधर से हवा काफिराना शायद इश्क क्या है
Man, that was beautiful. You got the most amazing falsetto or high, whatever you want to call it, head voice that I've heard. And even on Instagram Live, where there's the worst sound, and I keep saying this as if Instagram peeks in on everybody's live videos and listens to us. But seriously, Instagram, if you're listening, please figure out how to make the sound on Instagram Live better. Because otherwise, this is what I'm missing about the old days when people could meet each other. Because I would love to meet you, sit side by side, have proper cameras and microphones on, and hear this beautifully and let others hear it beautifully. But as I can clearly see, everybody is loving it regardless, without having proper sound and everything. So fantastic. That was really, really beautiful. So, of course, Kafirana is a beautiful song. Amit Trivedi being involved. I'm a huge fan of Amit's work, and I think he's been making some incredible music throughout his career. But I think one of the reasons I think people are probably falling in love with the song all over again is also because of it being Sushant Singh Rajput, one of his final few films, and I don't even want to get into that, and I'm not going to ask you anything related to that, but it's incredible the amount of love that he's getting right now. I just wish there was that for everybody watching right now. If you love somebody's work, don't wait until they are gone to let them know that. And that applies not only in macro and massive things, but in simple things like if you have a favorite singer, if they put out a song on YouTube or on whatever platform, and if you like it, make it a point to go there, write a nice comment, share that video with more people. Let your love, which you feel for somebody, be evident throughout their life as well, and not just when they've gone. That's just what I want to say about that. But I think it's such a beautiful song, and I know that it deserves all the love that it's getting, without a doubt. Yeah, go ahead.
No, what you said, it's very interesting because a lot of topics have been raised in the last few months. I think we've all had a lot of time to think and to reflect on ourselves. So there have been a lot of issues which have been raised, but I don't want to talk about any of the issues. But when you were saying what you were saying, how you should share your love and share how you feel about people and let them know that you care about them. There was a really another singer, a very big singer. She called me out of the blue. And when someone calls you who you don't usually speak to, you expect them to, to have a point. Like if I call you, I'll be like, hey, I'm doing this thing and I want to talk to you about it, or whatever. Like there's usually a topic,
Correct.
And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but that's usually where you expect the conversation to go.
Correct.
But she just called me and she was just like, hey, what's up? And I'll tell you the person at the end of this. So, and then she was just like, kaisi ho, talking to me. And then I was like, you don't know how amazing this feels that you just call me because you were thinking about me. And we were just speaking. And it's not even somebody I know, from a long time ago. It's not even somebody I've actually spoken to on the phone. I've only met her once on a tour, and we of course became good friends during the tour, and then we exchanged a couple of messages after that. And this person is Jyoti Nuran. So from the Nuran sister, then she called me and she was just talking to me, and she was like,
how cool.
And I was like, know how music feels that we are just having a conversation because you just want to have a conversation,
with no agenda, with no ulterior motive of any sort. That's amazing.
And it was crazy, because it just felt so amazing. Like I just wanted to share that with the world. Like, you know, that
Yeah,
this is like true human interaction. You know? Like this is
that's true.
where the purity lies. And I really hope that if you're thinking of somebody, like I just wanted to add, if you're thinking about somebody, just call them. You don't have to find an excuse to call them. You know, you don't. It's not embarrassing because you have no
Correct.
idea how you're gonna make that person feel. Like for
Absolutely,
real.
absolutely. So I think that's a beautiful piece of advice. And in today's, it's such a paradox because while connectivity has increased so much, where thanks to the internet, for instance, you feel like, oh, I can just do a video call. I can see that person's face even if he's in another country or she's in another country. But despite having so much connectivity, there is so much disconnect. And it's so important that when you feel, when you remember someone, when you think of someone, and it could be something as simple as if you're away from your parents and you just give a call to your mom or to your dad and say, hey man, hey Baba, hey mom, I was missing you and I just thought I'd call you and say, I love you. Whatever. It's as simple as that, or an old friend or a new friend or somebody that you admire. It's lovely. I think it's beautiful that that happened with you. And it's so strange that it feels special. It's something that should be the norm, but because it isn't, it feels so special. I just wish we can get back to that, where people are communicating and connecting with each other to genuinely stay connected, and not because there is work to be done or you want something to happen or whatever. That's beautiful. Now, with all of this said, let's now get to your new song. Let's talk about the
Yes,
brand new
the
single
most
that
recent
you
milestone.
the most recent milestone, the song that you just dropped yesterday. Like I said, I really loved it. You said Siddhant Kaushal's written that for you. Tell me a little bit more about all the other collaborators in the song.
So Jhalle Kalle is actually a song my friend Denny and I, we both composed it together, and this was about a year ago, I think. And so the song has been within us for a while, and then we started the pitching process. Like once we were happy with the song and all of that, we started pitching it to different people, and then we landed up with Geo Savan, and that's how. I mean, what you guys are seeing right now, there's like more than like a year of history behind it, of course. And amazingly, like shot during the lockdown, but I really did not want to have a lockdown feel at all, because everyone's been doing this whole animation thing or this lockdown
Correct,
video thing, and I was like, I don't want people to associate with a lockdown,
correct, correct,
but the irony is that the song is about a relationship, and it is about being crazy together. That's what the song is about. So it's supposed to be real. It's about couples, so couples
correct.
these days, and how we kind of hate each other sometimes, we love each other sometimes, but we make it
Right.
work, and that's what it's about. So I think it worked out for the best that the song had to be shot within an apartment anyway. But yeah, but I think we did a pretty good job. We've gotten a lot of amazing feedback. It's just been a day. And so if you guys haven't checked out Jhalle Kalle yet, please do, because
Please do,
there's,
yes.
it's a song that I even edited the video actually. So I've been a part of the process in more ways than one. So I really hope that
And it's a beautifully shot video. The video does not look or feel like it's been shot, using whatever limited resources that you would have had during this lockdown. Did you guys actually shoot it with like proper cameras and everything, and was somebody else
yeah, of course.
there?
We did. We had our friend Manas Tiwari. He's a pretty well experienced. He's done a lot of films. He's a DOP, and he's been a DOP in a lot of films. So he shot the video for us, and Shash was actually directed the video. That's another fun fact.
Very cool. But
So yeah,
whose apartment is this? Where did you guys shoot it?
we shot in a friend's apartment. Like we were blessed to have friends who have a great house. So shout out to Shavik for lending us his apartment for a day and letting us shoot the sound. But yeah, I think we try to make the best of the lockdown, ensuring that the team is not more than 5 people, and everybody except me and my co-actor Abhijit, everybody else was masked. So it was pretty legit that way, and I'm so happy that it turned out the way it did.
That's beautiful. By the way, I also saw that it features Yash Narvekar. What has Yash done in this? I couldn't make out. Is he the male vocal?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So and what has Denny done? Denny is the composer of the song with you.
Yeah, so Denny and I, we both composed the song together. Like we wrote the song together. Wrote as in like composed together. Sid wrote the lyrics, and we added. Actually, the song was initially a female song, and then the funny story is when we were pitching it to another label, they suggested that I hear a duet, and then we kind of liked the idea, and then we try. And Yash kind of complements my vocals, and he also has this very strong R&B style. So I felt like both Denny and I felt that he'd be really good for it. So we tried out Yash, and then it became what it is today.
It sounds beautiful. Let's hear a little bit of it. Come on.
Yeah, I've never really performed this song, so I hope I don't mess it up. Aww. Okay. तेरे हवाले में हूँ, मेरे हवाले है तू, फिर भी रोजाना लड़ेंगे। होता है नाराज तू। Oops, my screen was gonna die again. होता है नाराज तू, साथी में भी तू, फिर भी रहे साथ में। या तू जो ना जाना, ना तू जो लगे ये सही, ना तू जो ना जाना, ना तू जो हुआ लगे मुझको सही। सैया तो से बोले हो जाए जल्दी कल्ले, बन जाए जल्दी कल्ले। ओ सैया तो से बोले, सैया तो से बोले हो जाए जल्दी कल्ले, बन जाए जल्दी कल्ले। ओ सैया तो से बोले, ओ ना ना हम पारे, na na na, ooh na na na, na na na.
Man, that was beautiful. And if this is the first place that you performed the song live, that is perfect. I absolutely love that. But honestly, this is such a beautiful.
Lack of playing the right chords, that this is the first time.
No, but hey, Sid Kaushal is here right now. Hey, man, बहुत अच्छा लिखा है आपने. That's a beautifully written song, and congratulations to you, to Yash, to Denny, all three of you for making such a beautiful song happen despite the current climate and the restrictions and all of that. I think it's just a beautiful song. It's not a quarantine song because there is after a few months there's going to be a genre called quarantine music that has been made during the quarantine, songs about but I'm happy to say it's just a beautiful song that will survive beyond this period as well. हाँ यार YouTube पर है. मैं तो अभी मुझको ये गाना भेजा नहीं था separately so that मैं मेरे एक iPad पे दिखा सकूँ आपको. Please go on her YouTube channel. Let me say that once again. I was just looking at it. There's some amazing songs on her YouTube channel. Go subscribe to Nikhita's channel on YouTube. And this video that you're seeing here right now goes up on the YouTube channel of the MJ Show, which you can see in a day or two. Subscribe to that as well. Hit the bell icon on both of our channels so that when we put out new content, you get a notification and you know that there is good stuff out. And if you came in late, you missed out some of the earlier things that Nikhita said, some of the songs that she sang, you can go and watch that as well. Hey Nikita, thank you so much for coming and
Thank
chatting
you.
with me.
Thank you.
I had a great time chatting with you today. I'm looking forward to listening to more music from you in the months and years to come. But next time you got a new song out, reach out to me, come back on the show, and we'll talk about that. And we won't have this massive long conversation because your origin story and your earlier stuff is already done. So we'll focus on the new song and we'll talk.
We'll do like a dual, we'll do like a cross-pollination show. Like I'll ask you questions, you'll ask me questions.
Let's do that next time, 100%. But such a joy talking to you. Take care of yourself and may this song get bigger and bigger in the days to come. I'm going to be looking at it every now and then for sure and sharing it again with everybody watching right now. But for
This is pretty much all the time that we
have, this is so crazy. Because I've been getting calls, and the craziest thing is the call is from somebody from my team. If you are watching this video, you idiot, don't keep calling in the middle of my show. You are from my team. You should know I'm live right now. Anyhow, sorry, did not mean to end the show on such a angry note, but this is pretty much all the time we have for now. That is the absolutely brilliant. That's a brilliant Nikhita Gandhi. My name is Mihir Joshi. This was the MJ Show. And I always say you could be anywhere, but you chose to spend your time with us this evening. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. See you soon, Nikhita. Bye.
Bye. See you. Thank you.